Vicky. Thanks for joining me again today.
Hi.
I just want to start off by asking how you're doing.
Pretty good. Doing a little bit better.
hmm
I think, yeah.
What have you been up to since our last session?
Just lots of schoolwork. Um, doing work study stuff.
And you still liking your work study in school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So today, I basically, just want to talk more about your goals. So last time we set goals for you to stop self-harming and that you wanted to mend your relationship with your grandmother. So do you still want to work on those goals, or do you want to change anything? Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as self-harming, are you still doing that often, or can you tell me about that?
I mean, fairly often, I guess. I have been trying to kind of Google kind of ways to help stop. I found a couple of cool ideas that I've been thinking about trying out, but I haven't really done it yet.
Okay. Could you tell me what kind of things did you find on Google?
Well, there was this one thing I found, and I think it was called like the Butterfly Project or something. But you like draw a butterfly, and then like the goal is like I guess to not kill it by self harming. And I thought that was kind of cool. So that was kind of the big one that I found.
Okay. So could you tell me why you haven't really started any of those things that you found on Google?
I don't know. I just really haven't had the motivation. I guess it just seems easier to keep doing it than to try.
Okay. Do you think you could tell me what kind of drives you? Like, what is your thoughts before you start self-harming?
I don't really have thoughts before I do it. It's more like I just don't feel anything, and so
Sorry, I thought I stopped recording.
I just like I don't really feel anything, and so it helps me to feel again.
Okay. So you're saying that by self-harming, that's causing you to feel. So when you're not self-harming, you don't feel anything.
Yeah, everything's just numb.
Okay. So why are there any other activities that you do that bring any kind of feelings towards you?
I mean, sometimes like reading kind of helps if I find the right story, but really nothing else that I found.
Okay. So, do you think we could work on finding other activities that would draw you away from self-harming, and we could start looking at that to find a different alternative? Is that something you'll be okay with doing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Does your partner know?
She does, yeah.
Okay. And does she say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't like that I do it, but she understands, and she tells me that she's here for me if I need to talk. But I think she knows that if she were to just tell me I had to stop it, I don't think that would, I wouldn't like that. So.
Okay. So when she talks to you about self-harming, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels good to know that she accepts me for who I am, and that she doesn't think I'm weird, and she doesn't hate me for what I'm doing. So that feels good to know that she cares for me, unconditionally, I guess.
Okay. So when you were I kind of want to backtrack a little bit to when you were Googling the self harm, or not wanting to self harm. What made you want to take that step into doing something else?
I mean, like we talked about it here, and I don't think that it's good for me. I don't think that it's a healthy coping mechanism, and so I know that that I need to stop. I know that it's not productive. It's not good for me. And I'm scared that one day I might go too far, and that's always kind of lingering in the back of my head, and I'm worried. So I think that it's time to find something else.
Yeah, that's definitely a totally normal feeling. And I'm glad that you actually acknowledged and took that step into finding some other coping mechanisms outside of our therapy session. So that's really great.
Thank you.
So I can see that you are willing to change. So we can make that one of our goals for you to do that. Is that something you're okay with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to shift gears a bit. So
Okay.
last session we also talked about you mending your relationship with your grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're still wanting to do?
Yeah. I was able to talk to her on the phone like last week. I mean, it was just for a couple of minutes. I still think that she's angry, but I think that we're getting somewhere. I think that my brother is really supportive of me, and I think that maybe he said something to her to kind of. So I mean, someone at home is supporting me, and he's trying to get her to change her mind.
Okay. So when you spoke with your grandma recently, how did that conversation go?
I mean, it was awkward, which is really weird. I'm not used to awkward in our family, but I mean, it went okay, I guess.
Okay. So what kind of things did you guys discuss?
She just, I told her a little bit about how school was going. I mean, it was very basic, very superficial, kind of stuff. Just, how's school? What's the weather like?
Okay. So with your grandmother, do you want to get into more deeper conversations or?
Yeah, I mean, we used to be really close, and we used to talk about a lot, and so I miss that, and I wish, I'd like to go back to that if I could.
Okay. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, so 1 being not as important of wanting to mend your relationship with your grandmother, and 10 that you absolutely want to mend your relationship and get back to the way things were, how would you say you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's pretty important to me. I would say probably about a 6 or a 7. I really love her, and I really want that relationship back. But I also don't know that I could ever look at her the same way, knowing what she said and kind of how she reacted to this.
Okay. So about how many times have you spoken with her since our last session last month?
Just the once.
Once, okay. So how often would you like to speak to her?
I mean, we used to talk, at least once, maybe twice a week.
Okay.
When I first came out here. So, I mean, I would like to go back to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what are some things that you're willing to do to kind of get back to how the way things were with your grandmother?
What do you mean?
So maybe you could work on possibly calling her more, maybe twice a month.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be willing to do that. I mean, I do want to put in the effort. I do want to show her that I still love her and I'm still the same person. But on the same hand, I mean, I shouldn't have to build these bridges. I mean, It's not. I didn't do anything wrong.
So what you're saying is that you basically want your grandmother to reach out more to you instead of you having to go the whole 100%. You kind of want to meet her at 50-50. Does that sound correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that she's willing to change?
I don't know. I think maybe. I mean, I think maybe at least she'll forgive me for this, and at least we'll be able to have some conversations. But I don't know that she's willing to go back to the relationship that I wanted with her.
So if you were not able to get back to that relationship, how would that make you feel?
I'd be really sad. Like I said, we used to be really close, and that was really, we grew up with her. We live in the same house, and so not having her, it's just weird.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. I would be upset if I wasn't as close with my grandmother as well. So next week, I want to talk more about how you're doing with your self-harming goals.
Okay.
I think right now that's the most important thing.
Okay.
I would like you to stop self-harming. So if we could work on that together, that would be great. So do you think that's something we could do?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for showing up today.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to have to make a lot of notes.